Hey, good morning, everybody. Sorry I was a couple minutes late. The FB Live thing and I just have so much fun together in the morning. And it shut down my live thing as soon as I was starting it, but we're here now. Hooray! So welcome to 7 a.m. Vinyasa. Um, we're going to get started in just a second. What do I want to tell you? So my name is Amanda. That's important. My name is Amanda. I teach at the North Studio. Once we get started, you'll find me in North Studio Sundays at 8 a.m. and Monday mornings at 10:30 a.m. So come and see me. Come see me in person. I can't wait to see you. Um, and if you're more of a South Hill person, you'll probably find me there as soon as our doors open, rolling out my mat on the hot room South Hill. So to practice. So I can't wait to get there. Um, for now, though, if you've got music, go on ahead and play whatever you feel like this morning. I know that Lexi posted that great poll yesterday about music. There's been a weird thing with Facebook Live and music, and if the music is too loud or if the live video is picking it up, it's been cutting out the video because of licensing rights for music. So I think we're still trying to figure that out. So I have some music on. It's very low. I don't know if you can hear it. Um, but if you've got any kind of cool flowy thing that you want to get on your speakers now, go for it. And I'll try to put some Spotify playlists together um, to share for future classes so that you can play the volume at whatever you want. All right, so we're here. Good morning. I am going to lead us through a little bit more of a traditional Baptiste flow today. At least that's my intention. Sometimes I change my mind in the middle of class. But yeah, I want to go for a little bit more of a traditional Baptiste Vinyasa flow. So let's start very untraditionally. So we'll kick it off a little untraditionally. But let's start in a child's pose right now. So um, bringing your knees wide on the mat, hips down towards your heels, reaching those fingertips really far forward, forehead on the mat. Relaxing down into this child's pose. Not really focusing on anything else, not really working into any kind of alignment or any kind of breath work just yet. Just really feeling that stretch. That like I just rolled out of bed at 7 in the morning and I'm reaching my fingertips really far forward and stretching and pushing my hips back down to my heels, kind of good stretch. Any kind of movement in this child's pose that just feels like you're waking up your body, just go for it. So walk those fingertips forward, send those hips back down towards your heels. Maybe we massage out the third eye center, just rocking your forehead back and forth on the mat. Now that we're getting all kind of stretched out, let's start focusing on our Ujjayi breath. My shirt today says crank that Ujjayi, and that's all about what Vinyasa is about, is making sure that breath is consistent in and out through your nose. So, walking your fingertips up towards the top of your mat on your inhale. Big inhale in through the nose, and then exhaling through the nose, pushing your hips back down towards your heels. So it's an audible inhale in through the nose, constricting the whisper muscles in the back of your throat as you exhale audibly. You sound like ocean waves. You sound like Darth Vader. Making these big inhales and filling the lungs, belly button into spine. Exhaling through the nose. Now, the more we can keep this breath going in and out through the nose without opening the mouth to exhale, it helps to calm down our systems. That exhale out of the mouth is sort of a signal to the body that something's going on and maybe it needs to signal our fight or flight thing. And so we kind of, our bodies kind of feel like, oh, there's something happening, we need to panic. But if we keep our inhales and exhales in and out through our nose, it helps to calm down the systems. That parasympathetic nervous system helps to really calm everything down and relieves anxiety once we leave the mat. So think about that. And as we go through our flow today, if you feel the need to gasp for air, that you need to open up your mouth and sigh it out, it's totally fine. But think about maybe backing off of what you're doing, maybe coming down to a child's pose, laying back in a shavasana, to just catch your breath, catch back up to that ujjayi. And the next time you're on the mat, you're able to go more and more and more with the ujjayi and not needing that breath, right? All right, one more. Inhale, walk those fingertips towards the front of the mat. Exhale those hips down. Let's plant our hands into the mat, tucking our toes, pushing back to our downward facing dog, sending those hips high up to the sky. And let's take our dog for a walk here, bending one knee, then the other. Maybe we shake our head yes, shake our head no. Any little movement that feels good here before we get moving. So let's bring our dog to stillness, sending our hips up to the sky. Let's inhale, lift our heels, send your hips up. Exhale, heels down. Remembering to inhale in through the nose. Exhale, heels down. Inhale, rise. Exhale, down. One more inhale, heels lift. Exhale, release. And now let's tiptoe our feet to our hands. Meeting in this forward fold. Grabbing opposite hand to opposite elbows. Let's ragdoll, swaying side to side, perhaps. Playing with the bend in your knees here. Bending your knees, you might feel more of a stretch in your low back. Straightening your legs, that stretch all the way up the backs of the legs. Now releasing those fingertips to the ground. Inhale as we slowly rise, one vertebra at a time, all the way up on that inhale. Inhale lasts as long as we're rising. Fingertips up to the sky for that extended mountain pose. Lifting up. Exhale down, back to that forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale, hands to your shins. Maybe fingertips to the mat. And now we'll plant our hands, stepping back to our high plank position. Lowering down to your knees as necessary. And then as we exhale, we lower all the way down to our bellies to start. Hands under our shoulders as we inhale into our cobra pose. Weight not in the hands. Really lifting with our back. Exhale down. Pushing back toward downward facing dog. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Fill up. Empty. Walking your fingertips, your feet to your hands. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Rise up, extended mountain pose, reach up, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Stepping back. Maybe in our high plank, lowering down to chaturanga this time. Inhale as you rise to upward facing dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Filling up. Empty. Feet to your hands. Walk, step, or jump. Halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale as we rise. Reaching up, looking up. Let's take a back bend. Practice your arms. Look back. Go back. Inhale, fingertips to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Stepping back, jumping back, moving through your vinyasa, meeting in downward facing dog. Pushing back to downward facing dog on that exhale. And we take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Filling up. Empty. Walk, step, or jump, feet to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold. We'll take one more sun salutation. Inhale, rising up, reaching up, looking up. Let's take that back bend again because it's oh so good. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Stepping back, jumping back, moving through your vinyasa, meaning in downward facing dog, however you would like to get there. Using the breath as the vehicle to move you through these poses. And we get to our downward facing dog and we take a breath in. Breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Fill up. Empty. Walk, step, or jump, feet to your hands. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Now we're going to take our toes together to touch, heels slightly apart, sinking our hips into our Utkatasana chair pose. Arms up overhead. Belly button into spine. Our tailbone is tucked when the weight is in our heels. We can lift our toes up off the mat. Sinking those hips low into our chair. Holding here for several breaths, making sure we are in proper alignment with this chair. Maybe we're reaching those fingertips up to the sky on an inhale. Exhale, sinking those hips lower. Inhale, reach. Exhale, sink. Maybe we bring the palms of our hands together, gazing up at our thumbs. Holding here. One more inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Step back, jump back. Move through your vinyasa. Lowering down on the exhale. Inhaling to rise. Exhale, downward facing dog. We bring our right foot forward for warrior one. Big step forward. That left foot coming down at a 45-degree angle. Right knee at a 90-degree angle. Arms up overhead. Working this left hip forward, right hip back. Hips square to the front of the mat. Arms up overhead. Shoulder blades back and down. Gazing up at those thumbs, perhaps. We can bring the palms of our hands together here. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, let's take it to the mat, moving through our vinyasa, using the breath to move you. Maybe we lift a leg this time as we exhale down. Inhale to rise, downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward, warrior one. That right heel down at the 45-degree angle, 90-degree bend in this left knee. Inhale as we lift up. This left knee tracking towards the baby side toe. We can see our big toe peeking out. Making sure these hips are in line. Right hip coming forward, left hip back. Arms up overhead. Holding here in this warrior one for a few breaths. Maybe we bring our hands together, gazing up at our thumbs. Inhale, reach up. Exhale to the mat. Moving through your vinyasa. Perhaps you're lifting a leg as you lower down. Inhale to rise. Downward facing dog. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Filling up. Empty. Walk, step, or jump. Feet to your hands. Halfway lift. Hold. Rising into that Utkatasana. One breath, one movement this time. Big inhale as you rise up. Filling the lungs. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Step back, jump back. Move through your vinyasa. Lowering down on that exhale. Inhale to rise. Downward facing dog. Right foot rises. Swinging it forward. Inhaling as we lift up to warrior one. Big breath in. Exhale to the mat. Lowering down through chaturanga perhaps. Taking downward facing dog. Left leg swings forward. Warrior one. Big rise up. Big inhale. Exhale to the mat. Moving through your vinyasa. One breath. One movement. Meeting in that downward facing dog. And we take a breath in. Breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Filling up. Empty. Walk, step, or jump. Feet to your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Rise up. Extend the mountain pose. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Rising into our Utkatasana. Sinking down. One breath. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. Step back, jump back, move through your vinyasa, meeting in downward facing dog. Inhale as you rise. Exhale, belly button into spine, pushing back to downward facing dog. Right heel rises as we swing it forward for warrior one. Inhale to lift. Exhale to the mat. going through your flow. Maybe we're lifting that leg. Downward facing dog is the goal. However you'd like to get there. Left leg rises, stepping forward, rising up on the inhale, and exhale to the mat. Chaturanga. Once we're in our downward facing dog, we take our breath in, breath out. Inhale, exhale, fill up, empty. Feet to your hands. Halfway lift, fold. Utkatasana, sink those hips low as we rise up. Now we're going to take our hands to heart center. Coming into our chair prayer twist. Sinking these hips low, knees in line. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale that left elbow to the right knee. Twist. These knees stay in line. We're twisting from the torso, not from the hips. As we're twisting, we're pulling this right shoulder back and away. If side crow is in your practice, you can absolutely take that now. If you're enjoying this twist, just start to peel the shoulder away, working on getting those hands back to heart center. If we're in our side crow, taking that little shelf with our chaturanga arms as we move forward. Feeding back in our twist. And now exhale those hands down to the mat. Let's take our peace fingers, grab a hold of our big toes, pulling your head down towards the mat. Biceps bulging as you pull. Feeling that stretch up the backs of the legs. Maybe playing with the bend here as well, bending the knees slightly. Gets a little bit more stretch in the lower back. Release those toes. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Sinking into our chair. Rising to sink. Hands to heart center. This time, right elbow, left knee. Inhale, lift, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Same thing here. Our knees are in line. Working on pulling that left shoulder back with each exhale as we work our hands back to heart center. Taking that chair, that side crow on this side, if that is in your practice. Meeting back in that twist. And exhale, fold forward. This time we'll take gorilla, stepping on the tops of our hands, tickling our wrist crease with those little toesies. Maybe we're bending those elbows to really pull our head down, 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 down towards the mat. Closer and closer towards our shins. Inhale in through the nose. Exhale in through the nose. And now let's release. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale to a flat back. Step back, jump back, move through your vinyasa. Let's meet in our downward facing dog. From our downward facing dog, we're going to lift our right heel to the sky. Bend your knee and open up your hip. Take this opportunity to take some hip circles here. As small or as big as you want, one way and then the other. Now from this three-legged dog, we can flip our dog if that's in our practice. Bringing those right heel down to meet the left, lifting those hips, taking that back bend. Now let's all meet back in our three-legged dog. Right heel flip down to meet the left. Coming to our high plank, we are going to plant our right hand and open up to our side plank. So many options for side plank. We can be down on our forearm. We can be down on a knee. Any option that you choose. You can try for 3 legs. You can try to lift a leg. Just lift a leg. All right, let's bring it back to our high plank and push back to our downward facing dog. Breath in, breath out. Inhale, Exhale. Fill up. Empty. Let's lift our left leg. Lift that left heel to the sky, bend the knee and open up the hip. Taking those hip circles as tiny or as large of a circle as you want, one way and then the other. And if it's in your practice to do so, flipping that dog. And let's meet back in a three-legged dog. Bringing that left foot down to meet the right, coming out to our high plank. This time planting our left hand, opening up, taking your option for your side plank. Whatever feels good to you this morning, making sure our belly button is into our spine, really hugging in the core. Maybe we're gazing up at that top hand, and let's bring it back to our high plank. Push back to your downward facing dog. Breath in, breath out. Fill up, empty. Big breath in, release. Let's take our right heel to the sky, swinging it forward for crescent lunge. Big step forward with our right foot, 90-degree bend in that right knee. We are up on the ball mount of our left foot, option. Other option is to be down on our knee. And of course, we're not in that super cushy, beautiful hot yoga studio, so if you're like on a wood floor or a harder floor and you want to be on your knee, you can fold up your mat a little bit to give yourself an extra cushion. But we're in our crescent lunge, arms up overhead, hands coming to heart center. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, twist. Taking our left elbow to our right knee for that twist. Working on, again, those hands coming back to heart center, peeling this right shoulder open on the exhale. Inhale, your spine, your head lengthening towards the short side of the mat. Exhaling, spinning open. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist and rinse out. Detoxing on every exhale and twist. One more inhale. Exhale, rinse. Inhale. Open up to warrior two. Let's reverse our warrior. Send that right palm to the sky. Extended side angle, right elbow to right knee. That left arm reaching up and over. Options, hanging out right here because this is awesome. Maybe you're working on that half bind. Maybe you're working on the full bind. Maybe you're working on bird of paradise. Go ahead and pop up. If we are in our extended side angle, maybe you're working on getting your hand down to the mat. If you're getting your hand down to the mat, it needs to be flat on the mat without losing any integrity of the pose. So perhaps you're close and you need to use a block to work your way down to getting that hand flat on the mat. Birdies, why don't you come on down and meet us in our extended side angle. Let's all open up to warrior two. Reversing that warrior. Cartwheeling your hands down to the mat, moving through your vinyasa. Exhaling as you lower down through chaturanga, perhaps. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Belly button in as you push back. Downward facing dog. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Fill up. Empty. Let's lift our left heel. Bring it forward. Crescent lunge. Your choice. Have your right knee lifted or it could be down on the ground. Either way, I'll modify this time. Arms up overhead, hands coming to heart center. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Take that twist. Right elbow to left knee. Taking that twist. Feeling this left shoulder open. Feeling that chest opening on the exhales. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhale, detoxing and rinsing out. Inhale, reach. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, open it up. And now let's open it up. Warrior two. Reversing that warrior, sending that left palm up to the sky. Coming down to our extended side angle. Reaching that right hand forward. Taking your option here, enjoying your extended side angle. Maybe you're working your hand down to the mat. Maybe you're working on that half bind, full bind. And then birdies, if you would like to pop up to your bird of paradise. Go for it now. Bringing that right foot forward. Working on not locking out the knee joint as you start to lift and rise. And eventually extending that left leg out. Birdies, come on down. We're back in our extended side angle. Let's reverse that warrior. Send that left palm to the sky. And then cartwheel those hands to the mat, moving through your vinyasa. Meeting in our downward facing dog. From our downward facing dog, we take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Fill up. Empty. Walk, step, or jump your feet to your hands, but your feet on the outside of your hands. Setting up for our Malasana Yogi Squat. Preparing to go into crow. If crow is in your practice, absolutely go for it now. If you're enjoying your Malasana squat, our feet are wide, heels are in, toes are out, and take your feet as wide as they need to. Typically, it's about the width of your mat, of the short, like the short side of your mat. It may need to be, you just play with it. You may need to go wider or narrower, just depending. But sitting down into the squat, hands at prayer position, mainly for a tool just to push those knees open and really feel this opening in the hips. Hanging out right here, the longer that you hold any kind of hip opener, the more it really works to open. So if you like this, you can stay right here. If you want to play with a little bit of a twist in that flow that I've been doing, planting that left arm, sitting that right arm up, and reaching back. And bringing those hands down, inhaling, lifting the left hand, and looking back, gazing over that shoulder, maybe flowing through those for a little bit. If crow is in your practice or you're working on crow, we can try that now. From our Malasana, we plant our hands firmly on the mat, and we're working on bringing our knees up into our armpits, up onto the backs of our forearm. So those knees come into our armpits. We're making those chaturanga arms with our hands, making that little shelf, lifting one foot and lifting the other, and then as you're ready, playing with the balance, lifting both. Holding here for several breaths. And if it's in your practice or you want it to be, work on that chaturanga jump back. Everyone, let's meet in our Malasana Yogi Squat. Maybe if we did crow, or maybe we just want to clasp your hands, kind of work out your wrists a little bit. All right. Planting our hands, sending our hips up to the sky, toe heeling our feet back together. Forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Rising up, extended mountain pose. Inhale, reaching up. Eagle, right side. Right arm under. Right leg over. Working on getting this toe wrapped around the calf. Belly button into spine, core locked tight. Tailbone is tucking as your pelvis lifts. If this eagle arm isn't working for you this morning, genie arms or a butterfly hug, wonderful option. Choose your eagle for the morning and sink into it. And let's release and switch sides. Left arm under, left leg over. Sinking into that standing leg, easier said than done. And releasing up. Opposite side. Eagle one more time. We're going to add on to it a little bit. We're going to come into a balancing half moon. So you have a block, or if you like a block in your balancing half moon, have it handy. And ready. Eagle on the right, right arm under. Rounding into that left leg, right leg over. Elbows up to shoulder height. Grounding through the four corners of that standing foot. So really making sure we're grounding through the ball mount of the left toe and not letting it roll up. Sinking down, core locked tight. Elbows up to shoulder height. Exhale, elbows to knees. Sleeping eagle. Unraveling that top leg, sending it into this bound warrior three. Right hip rotating down. Arms opening up. Vinyasa airplane. And then we're going to take our left hand to the mat or the block. Opening this right hip up for that balancing half moon. That right hand rises. And working on the gaze, lifting up towards the right hand. And if we're using the block, eventually needing it less and less. And let's bring it down. Arms up overhead. Left side eagle. Left arm under. Left leg over. Sinking into that standing leg. Elbows up to shoulder height. Exhale your elbows to your knees. Unraveling that top leg. Bringing that back. Rotating that left hip down towards the mat. Keeping the hips level. Open up. Vinyasa airplane. This time taking the right arm, right hand down to the block. Opening up the left hip. Left hand reaching up. Gazing up at the top hand. And then let's bring it down. Excellent. Take the block away for a minute. Come into our standing leg raised. Rounding through this left foot. We'll take our left hand to our hip. Right knee rises, grabbing a hold of our right knee. Right here is enough. This is a beautiful standing leg raise. As we stand right here, building up strength and stability. If you want a little more hip flexibility, you can inhale, open up that right knee. If you want even more flexibility, you can reach down with those peace fingers, grab a hold of that big toe, extending that right leg out, and opening up. Wherever you are this morning, holding there. If you've opened up, maybe we can bring with that left arm off of the hip, gazing over to the left. Now let's bring it back to center and down, switching sides, grounding into the right leg, right hand on the hip, the left knee rises, grabbing a hold of the left knee with the left hand. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, taking your option. Stay right here, building that stability, or working on that flexibility, opening that left knee. Maybe we're gazing over the right. Keeping that Ujjayi breath going. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Using the breath to help stabilize you as much as you're using your core. And let's bring it back to center and down. Beautiful. Dancer pose is next. Rounding through our left leg. Grounding through our left leg. We're going to bring our right elbow into our right hip crease, bending your right knee, our right hand going inside of our right foot. Left hand rises. And again, right here is a gorgeous dancer. No need to do anything different as you're building on the stability and the strength here. If you want a little more fuller expression of the pose, we're working on the back bend first with our kick. And we are kicking behind. And as you feel your toes rise above your head, and then you can lean forward. And I always love this because you can give me a high five. Yo, good job for being here at 7 in the morning. Miss all your faces. And let's bring it down. Beautiful. Switching sides, grounding into the right foot, bending that left knee. Left hand inside of the left foot. Arms up overhead. And staying here if this feels good to you. Or start with that kick. Kick, kick, kick. Work on that back bend as those toes lift up overhead. We are leaning forward, reaching and kicking equally. Lovely, and returning back to center Tadasana. Gorgeous. Who's ready for tree? Let's pick our tree for the morning. Any option will do. Half a tree, always an option as well. If that's in your practice and you just love that added hip opening that half a tree provides. I'm going to guide you through just regular Ashtanga tree, I guess. Grounding through this left foot. We can kickstand our right foot on our left ankle. I'm feeling the hip opening. I'm feeling a little bit of a toggle. This is a great place to modify and start. Maybe we want to bring it up on our calf. Maybe we want to bring it up on our thigh. Choosing your tree for the morning. Starting with hands pressed into hand. This helps to stabilize, but the stabilization really comes from right here. Belly button in, tailbone tuck, pelvis lift, shoulder blades back and down. Maybe we're ready to take our hands somewhere new. I always like to show these options. Hands up overhead, clasping your fingers, lifting those palms to the sky is an option. Maybe taking reverse prayer hands at the nape of your neck. Maybe taking those cow face arms. Maybe taking reverse prayer hands at your sacrum. Whatever option works for you. Just beautiful open arms as well, taking in and allowing whatever the universe has in store for you this morning to just fill you up. And let's bring it down. Switching sides. Shake out that left leg, grounding through the right. Picking your retreat today, kickstand, calf, thigh. Pressing hand into hand. Belly button into spine, pelvis lifts, tailbone descends, shoulder blades out of the ears, proud chest. Breathing in and out through the nose. As you're feeling stable, taking your arms somewhere new, somewhere different. Another fun one. Maybe we clasp our hands, send those palms up to the sky, and we work on being a little tree in a little storm here, bending over one way, and then maybe the other. And let's bring it down. Gorgeous. Awesome, you guys. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward, halfway lift. Move through your vinyasa, meet in that downward facing dog. From our downward facing dog, we're going to inhale and lift our right heel to the sky. We're bringing it forward for warrior one. Inhale as we rise up. Exhale, open up to warrior two. And now we're going to straighten this right knee, setting up for our triangle. Straightening this right knee, reaching our right hand as far forward towards the front of the mat as we can before we tick-tock our arms and gazing up at that left thumb. Slight bend in this right knee, not locking out the knee joint, really feeling the muscles wrap around the bones instead of using the joints to hold us up. Opening this chest. Inhale, exhale, open. Really breathe in, filling your lungs. Exhaling, feeling the left shoulder pull away, the chest opening, the heart opening, vulnerable moment. And now that top hand is going to pull you up. Let's rotate both feet towards the long side of the mat, setting up for our wide-legged forward fold. Hands on our hips to start. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Now, in this wide-legged forward fold, take this pose as you want it. Bring your hands where they want to go, your head where they want to go. If you can get the top of your head to the mat, and your hands are in line with your feet, you may be ready to try to pop up into a tripod headstand. Go ahead, no one's watching. Just have a good landing area just in case you roll back. If you're not quite there yet, totally fine. Maybe you're reaching and grabbing a hold of the sides of your feet. Maybe you can grab a hold of your ankles, your calves, your thigh. Whatever works for you. Just feel this great, amazing stretch in this wide-legged forward fold. Using the breath to go deeper and relax into this stretch. Now let's bring our hands to our hips. Tripods, come on down, by the way. Bringing our hands to our hips. Inhale to a flat back. Keeping this flat back. Exhale. Inhale, rising up. We're going to take warrior two to the back of our mat. Pivoting that left foot out. Warrior two. Straightening that left leg. Triangle pose, reaching forward, tick-tocking those arms, not locking out that left knee. Gazing up at that top hand. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling to open. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, really spinning that chest open. Big heart opening moment. Trying to keep that breath in and out through the nose. Go back to the Ujjayi breath. Crank that Ujjayi, yes. All right, let's open up. Spinning these feet again. We're gonna take, clasping our hands at our sacrum. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, folding forward. Going for that shoulder rinse. If you got a towel close by and you want to grab a hold of the towel, that might make it easier. If your shoulders are kind of talking to you this morning, but just folding over, feeling that stretch. And now let's inhale, slowly rise, keeping this bond in our hands. We're going to pivot our right foot towards the front of the mat. Warrior one feet. We're going to get ready to humble our warrior. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, bring that right shoulder inside of the right knee, humbling our warrior. And now let's release these hands, bringing our hands on the outside of our right foot. We're going to bring our left foot up a lot, coming into our pyramid pose. And then if you have a block or a block-shaped item nearby, you might want it as we grab a hold of the block, placing your left hand on the block, lifting that right arm up. So we're taking this twisted triangle here. And now let's bring that right arm down, planting our hands, sending our right leg back. We're going to step back, moving through our vinyasa, lowering down on your exhale, inhaling to rise. Downward facing dog, belly button in the spine. Let's lift our left heel, bringing that left foot forward for warrior one. Arms up overhead. Let's bring our arms down, clasping them at our sacrum. Inhale, lift that chest. Super proud chest, but we can't be too proud for too long. We've got to humble ourselves. Humble that warrior, bringing the left shoulder into the left knee. Breathing in and out through the nose. And now let's bring these fingertips on the outside of our left foot, walking this right foot up a lot so we're in this pyramid pose. Grabbing a hold of that block, perhaps if you have it. Planting your right hand on the block as you lift that left hand to the sky. And let's bring it down. Removing that block, stepping back, going through your vinyasa. Lowering all the way down on your exhale. Inhale to rise. Downward facing dog. Pushing back. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Filling up. Empty. Let's roll out to our high plank position just for a moment. Lowering down to your bellies. Setting up for our belly down postures. Arms down by our side. Skin on the mat. Toes together to touch. If your low back is talking to you this morning and that's not feeling too good, you could bring your toes about hips width distance, otherwise toes together to touch. Coming into our locust pose, on your next inhale, we're going to lift everything up off the mat. Toes off the mat. Shins, knees, thighs, arms, chest, everything lifts. Belly button and the spine as you're hugging in. Remember to breathe. Don't hold your breath in this pose. Inhale, exhale, and release down. Rest your right cheek on the mat. Taking a cleansing breath in and a cleansing breath out. Locust number 2. Toes together to touch if your low back is cool with that this morning. On your next inhale, lift up. Inhale and rise. Belly button in. Thighs are spinning in towards each other. Really lift. Really rise. Lifting higher. And then release down. Left cheek on the mat. As you breathe in and breathe out. We're going to take a couple of floor bows. So reach back, bending your knees, grabbing a hold of your feet just below the toes. If you prefer to only do one foot at a time, that's totally fine. We're going to do 2 of these. So take your option. We're reaching back and grabbing a hold of our toes where our shoelace line is. Chin on the mat to start. Inhale, exhale. On your next inhale, lift into that gorgeous teardrop shape. We are on the soft part of our bellies. Those toes lifting, lifting, lifting overhead. And release down. Resting your right cheek on the mat. Taking a cleansing breath in. Cleansing breath out. Floor bow number 2. Switch feet if you did one side the last time. Do the other side. Otherwise, reach back, grab a hold of your toes. If you want to try the power bow, you can grab hold of your ankles. Either way, on your next inhale, lift up. If you're in the regular bow, you're coming to the soft part of your belly. If you're grabbing hold of your ankles, you're kind of pushing back to you're coming onto your thighs. Lifting up, remember to breathe in and out through your nose. Big breaths in, big breaths out, and release. Windshield wiper your feet back and forth, releasing that low back. Now let's roll over onto our backs. The setup for bridge or wheel. I'll start cueing bridge. Other option, if you have a block, placing it under your sacrum and coming into a restorative bridge and just hanging out in restorative bridge while we do our bridges and wheels. Totally cool option for you. We're on our backs, feet close to our heels, or feet are hips width distance. On your next inhale, peeling your hips up off the mat, lifting them up. They were clasping our hands underneath us, coming up on top from our shoulders, lifting your hips higher than you think you can go. Breathing and release down.
lowering down one vertebra at a time. We will do two more, say. So options for bridge always. If you want to come into your wheel, it's a great time to do that. I will do wheel as well. So I'm bringing my hands close to my ears. And on your next inhale, bridge or wheel, pop up. Breathing in and out through your nose. Keeping that ujjayi going. Let's lower down. Yogi's choice, bridge or wheel. Taking a restorative breath in, breath out. Taking your option, final back bend. Inhale to lift up. And release down. Let's take a Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together, knees splay open. One hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. Close your eyes, focusing on your breath. Returning your breath back to that good, slow, ujjayi breath. Gently open your eyes. We're on our backs. We're going to come into an inversion of your choice. If you have a block from where you're at, bending your knees, lifting up your hips, placing this block under your sacrum, and extending those legs up to the sky for this waterfall pose is a beautiful inversion. If you'd like to take legs up the wall, coming up to a wall, extending your legs up the wall, and relaxing back on that. Any headstand, handstand, forearm stand, anything that you're working on, take a moment. Or if you'd like to come into shoulder stand, lifting your hips, lifting your toes up to the sky, in the shoulder stand. Let's take our toes, if you're in your shoulder stand, bringing those toes behind us for that plow pose. Maybe taking deaf man's pose, bringing those knees by your ears. I always like my little unicorn here, bringing your knees on to your forehead. All right, let's shoulder standers. Let's bring those legs back up and then we'll lower one vertebra at a time. Everyone returning, removing the block if you're in waterfall, coming down flat on our backs. We'll do our counter pose, our fish pose, bringing our fingertips right to our sacrum, bending our elbows or on our forearms, gazing back, taking these big, deep lion's breaths. Inhale. Exhale, stick your tongue out and inhale. One more. Excellent. Let's rise up. We've got our feet extended out in front of us for our seated forward fold. Arms up overhead. Reaching forward, grabbing a hold of those toes. Maybe your hands land on your shins, wherever your hands land. Make it feel good. Getting the stretch here that you want. Inhale as you rise, bringing our left foot into our right thigh. We're going to scoop this right hand down right next to our right foot and reach over. See if you can grab a hold of the toes with your right toes with your left hand. Feeling a stretch and a twist. And reach up, switching sides. Right foot and the left. Reaching up and over, grabbing a hold of those toes. Inhale, rise, extending those legs out, rolling onto your back. Let's lift our right knee into our chest, hugging that right knee up and around your rib cage. Compressing that right side body. And now let's bring that right knee over and around, getting that final spinal twist. Trying to keep the right shoulder on the mat. Trying to get the right knee down. Those are one day, someday goals. Really doing whatever is necessary for this pose to feel comfortable and like it's a really good stretch. Bring that knee back to center, hugging both knees in, releasing that right leg, hugging that left knee up and around the rib cage, up into the armpit, really compressing that left knee, that left side body. And now exhaling as we bring this left knee down to the ground. And exhale, release, hugging both knees into your chest. Let's take a happy laughing baby. Maybe we're grabbing those peace fingers, wrapping them around the big toes, or grabbing a hold of the soles of your feet. Working on getting the spine flat from tip to tail, pulling those knees down, opening up the hips. Maybe we rock side to side, bending one leg and then the other. Hugging those knees into the chest and extending those legs long. Final resting pose. Shavasana. Gently closing your eyes. Taking a deep breath in and out through your nose. Taking as long as you need to in this pose. Arguably one of the hardest poses of yoga because it's when we want to say, okay, we did yoga, we can get up and go. But rest, relax, allow all of the benefits of all of the poses that you've just done to flood your body, release into this shavasana. It may be your only moment of the day or the week. Enjoy it, relish it, take it for all it's worth. When you're ready to come out of shavasana, stay for 5 to 10 more breaths. Thank you for joining me this morning. In yoga, we say, the light in me sees and recognizes the light in you.